In the late 1960s, a figure emerged from the shadows of Northern California, a figure that would soon become one of the most terrifying and elusive figures in modern history. His name, the Zodiac. But his true identity? That remains a mystery. What is known are the lives he ended, the fear he left behind, and the cryptic taunts he sent to police and newspapers, playing a twisted game of cat and mouse that has never truly ended. It began on quiet, unsuspecting nights, couples sitting in their cars, enjoying the peace of the evening. They never saw him coming. He lurked in the darkness, waiting, his cold eyes scanning for his prey. On December 20th, 1968, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday sat in their car on a rural road outside of Vallejo, California, unaware that they were about to become his first known victims. The Zodiac approached them, methodically pulling out his pew-pew. Shots rang out, echoing in the silence of the night, and their lifeless bodies slumped against the seats. He left no trace, only fear. 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, he struck again. This time, Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau were sitting in a parking lot, the warm summer night wrapping around them. The Zodiac crept up to the car, a shadow among the stars, before opening fire. Darlene didn't survive, but Mike did, barely. And when he spoke to the police, he described a man cold and calculating, hiding behind the veil of anonymity. But it wasn't enough for the Zodiac to simply take lives. He wanted more. He wanted to control the narrative. Soon after the attacks, the letters began to arrive. They were like poison, filled with riddles, symbols, and threats. "I like unaliving people because it is so much fun," one of his letters read. He signed it with a chilling symbol, a circle with a cross through it, like a sniper's scope, zeroing in on his next target. He taunted the police, daring them to catch him, knowing they couldn't. Then came Lake Berryessa on September 27th, 1969. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were spending the day by the water, soaking in the sun, when the Zodiac approached them. He wore a bizarre black executioner's hood, his symbol emblazoned on his chest, as if death itself had materialized in front of them. He tied them up, savored the terror in their eyes, and then, with methodical precision, stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived, but Cecilia wasn't so lucky. Before leaving, the Zodiac scribbled his symbol on their car, leaving behind yet another puzzle for the police to solve. The final confirmed incident took place in the heart of San Francisco on October 11th, 1969. A taxi driver named Paul Stein picked up a fare, never knowing that his passenger was the infamous Zodiac. Stein was pew-pewed at point-blank range, and the Zodiac slipped away once again, disappearing into the city. But he didn't leave empty-handed. He tore a piece of Stein's shirt as a trophy, which he would later send to the police in yet another letter, just to remind them that he was still out there, still watching. No one was safe. And despite the survivors, the descriptions, and the Zodiac's constant teasing, no one could stop him. The ciphers he sent were twisted puzzles, daring anyone to decode them. Some remain unsolved to this day, leaving only more questions. The most famous cipher, cracked in 2020 after 50 years of failed attempts, didn't reveal his identity. Only more disturbing thoughts from the mind of a man who seemed to relish the chaos he created. The Zodiac vanished as mysteriously as he appeared, slipping back into the darkness that birthed him. Over the years, police have investigated countless suspects, but none were ever confirmed to be the Zodiac. He remains a ghost, haunting the minds of those who have tried and failed to unravel the mystery. The Zodiac left behind more than just terror. He left behind fear. He left behind uncertainty. And he left behind a legacy that, to this day, lingers like a shadow in the dark.